The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, hello everybody. I'd like to thank you for coming to our webinar today. Jamie Anderson has been kind enough to present an introduction to Clearview for us today. This should be a valuable webinar for everybody in KYTC, so let's go ahead and move on and get you an upcoming schedule. On August the 17th, we're actually going to be doing a webinar on how to do a design executive summary. Keith Cottle will actually be presenting that. That's one that everyone that's in project management can benefit from, and even those people who may not even do the design executive summary, it'll be good to see, just because knowing that process will be invaluable so that you kind of know what's going on. On the 31st, Brad Eldridge will actually be doing a webinar on pay estimates and consultant monthly reports. That should be beneficial to consultants for sure, and also KYTC employees as well. So we hope you can make it to both of those webinars. That should be informational for just about everybody. If you want to look at past webinar videos, you can actually find them on YouTube. To get to those YouTube links, you can go to the KYTC Highway Design page and go to the software and support link, which is, if you look at the big red arrow there that I've got, that actually shows where that link is. If you actually type into Google search KYTC Highway Design Software and Support, it will actually usually bring you straight to that link, and you can actually get to those YouTube videos there. And that's nice to have, just because, I don't know if you're like me, I can forget my name on some mornings, so it's nice to be able to go back and review some of those webinars for those things that you forget. If you have any questions for us here about MicroStation, inroads, project-wise, you can contact us at kytcCADsupport@ky.gov. We can usually answer most of your questions. There haven't been too many questions that we haven't been able to answer, if any. And it might take us a little time to research it, but typically we can get those to you pretty quick. So if you have any questions, give us an email there. A couple of reminders. You have to be present for the entire webinar to earn your professional development professional development hours. I'm sorry if you've been through a lot of webinars, I'm repeating this stuff. I just want to make sure that everybody hears it loud and clear, so that there's no issues in case there are audits. If you're PE or you're getting your audit. Also, if you want to watch these webinars as a group, you can, and you can still get your professional development hours. We won't have actually any record of it, but if you it's suggested that you actually have a sign-in sheet so that you have evidence that you actually attended the webinar and learned something, got some information out of it. So just in case you get audited on your professional development hours. Also, please don't forget to participate in our survey at the end of the webinar. These questions actually ask questions that give us information about the webinars, how we're doing, and the kinds of stuff that you'd like to see. So if you could, please take the time and do those surveys. Also, in this webinar, there are handouts. If you look in the bottom of your control panel, near the bottom, there should be a handouts tab. You can expand that, hitting the little plus sign, and you can actually download the Clearview training guide, which that'll be helpful after the webinar and even during the webinar if you're a multitasker. I'm not one of those types, but if that works for you, that's great. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to some poll questions. The first one is one that, if you've been in a lot of webinars, you've heard a lot. It is, did you attend the previous highway design webinar? So wait for people to vote here. Looks like about 72% of you have voted now. In the mid-80s now. Okay, looks like we're hovering around 86%. Oh, bumped up to 90 there. That's good. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that one and show the results. Looks like about 64% of you went to the last webinar, which is great. This should be all KYTC employees, so that means you're doubling up on your info, which is good. The 36% of you that are new here, we welcome you. We're glad that you're watching this webinar in Clearview. We hope you get some information out of it. Our poll is another one that's common. Have you ever attended a KYTC design webinar? Wait for the voting to come in. Okay, we're around 90% again. Go ahead and share that. Looks like about a quarter of you have never been to a webinar. We're glad you're here. Hope you come again. Looks like about a third of you have been at least one time, which is good. And even greater number than any of them have been to greater than 10, which is it's amazing. That's great. We're getting out there. People are starting to realize what we're doing. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that people are attending. I hope you keep coming back. These are great for everybody. So we'll go on. We have one last one. This one pertains to the actual webinar itself, and it's how often do you use Clearview? All right, it looks like we're hovering here around 90% participation. It looks like roughly 15% use it frequently, 34, a third, use it occasionally, 29% or never, and 22% have never even heard of Clearview, which is that's good. I'm more in the 29, kind of in between, basically the 29%. I don't think I've ever used Clearview. So I'm glad that we are all here to learn something, which is good. That puts us around 50% of the people that need to know what Clearview is. That's good. I'm glad we're all here. And for those people who have used it, I think you also learned something as well. So this will be a good webinar for everybody, and I'm glad we're all here. Okay, let's go on to the presentation. Jamie, are you ready?
Yes, I'm good to go.
All right, you have the controls.
Good morning. Welcome to the Introduction to Clearview webinar. My name is Jamie Anderson. I will be presenting today a step-by-step guide on the Clearview application that can be used to help manage your projects. Please do not hesitate to submit questions during the webinar, and we will address those at the end of the presentation. If you have additional questions on using this application after the webinar has ended, feel free to email or call me. If you have any problems or errors within the application itself, please contact KYTC, OIT Help Desk, or Jim Fisher. Also, like Chris mentioned, I would like to point out that I have included a Clearview training guide under the handout section of this webinar. This might be helpful to have on hand if you need to refer back to it on how to use the application. The agenda for today's webinar will be, what is Clearview and how can it help me? How to use the Clearview search screen to locate projects, how to view and update project milestones, how to view and update project cost estimates, how to input a CAP note communicating all promises, and print a CAP report. And also, I wanted to share a few miscellaneous notes that you might find helpful. So let's get started. Okay, what is Clearview? Clearview is a SharePoint web application that connects to the 6-year plan SYP database system. Currently, there are two user interfaces that connect to the SYP database. You have your Oracle Precon application and the SharePoint Clearview application. Both of these applications can be used to update or monitor the SYP database when actions in a Milestones have occurred. These updates are a great way to get everyone better informed when district status review meetings occur. So you might be thinking, how exactly does this help me? What am I going to get out of this? Does your project need traffic signing? Just by setting the traffic signing milestone to required can let the division of traffic know that signing is needed. It is a way of getting this project in their work queue. This is a quick and easy way of notifying traffic that signing is needed on this project. The subject matter experts, such as traffic, can input into the system when they have completed to alert you of this as well. Is advanced situation folder needed? Input this into the advanced situation milestone in Clearview so that structures and drainage are aware they need to be tracking this folder. This will help them be aware they will be needing to review and they can prioritize their work. Another example is a DES has been submitted, but you haven't heard if it's been approved. Clearview can help you track the status of the DES approval process and who is in the process of reviewing the DES. The milestone will list the DES submittal stage that the DES is currently in, such as submitted to location engineer, submitted to roadway design branch manager, and so on. This way you don't have to ask what the status is. You can just look in Clearview. So let's take a look at how you find a project use in Clearview. I've listed the link to the Clearview application in this PowerPoint. It is also included in the guide under the Handouts section. There are a few different ways that you can search for a project in Clearview. Let's open up the application to take a look at these. Okay, first is the grid, which is right here. The grid is a great feature to use if you want to filter on projects such as by county, project manager, letting date, or keywords in the project description. You will notice the filter icon on the column heading. This is how you use the filter feature. For example, we want to view all the projects in Lyon County. Click on the filter icon on the county column heading. Enter Lyon in the text box. And click Filter. This will pull up all projects with Lyon as the county name. To remove a filter, click back on the filter icon and click Clear. Now let's say we want to see all projects in the August letting. So I can click on the filter on the letting date column heading. If I know the exact letting date, I can select is equal to, for example, August letting is on the 21st. If I'm not sure of the exact date, I can select is after or equal to, select the calendar. I'm going to select August 1st, 2015, and after, and is before or equal to August 31st. Let's click Filter. Here are all the projects that are scheduled to be let in August. You can also click on the column heading to sort. To clear the filter, again, go back to the column heading and click the filter button and click Clear. You can also filter on a specific project manager to view all projects assigned to that project manager. Click on the filter button on the project manager column heading. Enter the project manager's name, for example, Kevin.Martin, and click Filter. This will pull all projects that have been assigned to Kevin. Just a note that if you are searching based on a project manager's name, remember you might have to put the name in as KYTC / first name.last name format. Let's remove this filter by clicking on the filter button and clear. Another feature to search for a project is using the drop-down boxes. The drop-down box can be used to search on a district or a district and item number. For example, to view all District 3 projects, select 3 from the district drop-down box. If you want to drill down to a specific item number, for example, Project 3-108.5, you can then click the item number drop-down box, scroll to the project 108.5. So there's the project. Just a note I want to point out, if you select a district number, it's only going to populate the item numbers that are active projects in that district. Also, you can use the My Projects tab to find projects that are assigned to you. This tab is helpful if you only want to view the projects that have you listed as the project manager. This is where you will notice the format of the project manager's name. We will be discussing this later about taking ownership of a project and how it formats based on your computer login username. Now let's take a look at the project-related tools that are available to you once you have identified your project. I'm going to open Project 3-108.5 since I recently did a search for it. To open the project page, click on the project number. And just remember, or I want to point out that just have a little patience with Clearview. Sometimes it's a little slow loading the data, so just be patient. Lots of patience. It's thinking. Okay, let's try this again. Let me close this down. Try to reopen this. Looks like we're having some difficulties with this application this morning. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like it's going to be working right now. So let me just go ahead and I'll try to walk through. Let's see, maybe it's coming up now. Let's see.
Looks like we're getting an example of the kind of difficulties that everybody might have. Hey, Jamie?
Yeah, what do I do?
You got to hold your mouth a different way, I think. I think it's just it's lagging along here today.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
just give it a little
see.
bit more time here. I actually see the bar down there. It's scrolling, but it's scrolling really
It's
slow.
trying. Yeah, it's trying.
For all you out there who use Clearview frequently or will be using Clearview frequently, this kind of thing will always happen when you have to meet a deadline or it has to be done tomorrow, that kind of thing or something. So, computer issues are a problem for everybody. This is something that we just have to deal with. We'll see what we can do here.
There we go.
Yay!
Okay, it looks like it finally came up. Sorry for the delay. So I hope no one has already signed off. I hope you're all still there. So let's get back, see if we can open up one of these projects. So I was trying to open up project 3-108.5. And it still looks like it's not wanting to load right now. Well, let's try in Google Chrome. Let's see if that makes a difference. There still seems to be some problems pulling in the data. Okay, well, I'll just walk through some of the tabs and kind of give you an overview of the tabs. Maybe it will end up pulling up here. While we're walking through this. So sorry about this. The first tab is the Milestone tab. This tab allows the users to view and update the milestone statuses for the project. We have 13 milestones. When design funds are authorized, this is where you set what milestones are required or not required for the project. When the project is created in SYP, the default value for each milestone is unknown. To view the list of milestones associated with each milestone and populate on the report, each milestone needs to be initially set to required or not required. This helps the different subject matter experts know if they should be tracking this project. Okay, for another thing I wanted to point out is you might notice when you open up some of your projects that not all the milestones are displayed on the screen. Any milestones that have not been set to not required are hidden. So to view all the milestones, you'll want to click on the Show button in the top right of the screen. As your project moves forward and milestones are scheduled and revised, this is where you will input these dates. Key times for revisiting these dates should be when consultant monthly reports are submitted with invoices and prior to status review meetings. So, for example, if a consultant has recently submitted a monthly report and final roadway plans delivery has been delayed, this is when you'll need to go into Clearview and update the scheduled completion date for the roadway plans. And also, I want to make a note that when you update your schedule, you'll always need to put in a remark. Those are required for the changes to save. There's two save buttons. You'll notice that you'll have a save button that's directly under each milestone header. You can also click Save All. That will be at the top of the page. What this does, it will allow you to save all the changes at once. So if you're opening multiple if you're updating multiple milestones, you can just click the Save All. That might be a little bit easier for you. It's still trying. The next tab is the Funding tab. The Funding tab is used to view project funding status and to update current cost estimates. So if your project recently held a PL&G or a joint inspection meeting, this is where this means that your estimates need to be updated, and this is the screen that you will use for these updates. On the Funding tab, there are two tables. The Authorized Funds table will list all phases, funding codes, authorization dates, and authorized amount. If a phase is not authorized, it will be listed in this table, but will have no authorization date, and the authorized amount will be 0. The projected remaining cost table is where you update your current cost estimates. There's a couple fields that you'll need to fill in when you're updating your estimates. There's a date of estimate text box. This will be the year the estimate is being updated. Right now, this field actually populates only the year. So it would say like 2015. We would like this to populate the full date format. Right now, again, it will only allow the year, so you only need to put in 2015. Then you would put in the new cost estimate. You will key in the projected year of authorization, and you will put a remark such as updated estimate based on a joint inspection meeting. The system will automatically escalate the cost based on the projected authorization year. Next tab is the cap. This is where you can input a cap note and print a cap report. The cap, communicating all promises, note tab is used to view and add any promises made that are associated with the project. Just a note, once a cap note is entered, it cannot be deleted but can be overwritten by adding a new cap note. So when you need to add a cap, there will be a row with the label new. Click in that text box and you will enter all the appropriate information. You will need to enter requester name, location, requested date, and a cap note description. Then you will click Save. Once you click Save, it will list the username and the date the cap note was entered. You can also print a cap report. Click on the Open Cap Report button. It will pull up a cap report. I have an example of one. Let's see. Here's an example of how a cap report will print from out of Clearview. It will include the header information and all the different cap notes that have been entered. Using Clearview is the best way to print a cap report when no cap notes are required. Clearview will print the project header information along with noting no caps on the report, whereas Precon Oracle is unable to print the header information when no cap notes have been inputted. For example, here's a project with no cap notes. You will notice that the project header information is listed and no caps is listed in the description. Let's see. Definitely going to have to contact KYTC OIT on this. So if you ever get any of these error messages pop up, that's who you need to contact. So I'm going to go on, and there's two other tabs that I wanted to touch briefly on. The Evaluations tab. This is where you can go if you want to access the evaluation website or print an evaluation. If an evaluation has been completed, it will show up in this box. From there, you can click on the evaluation and it will pop up so that you can print. If an evaluation has not been completed, it will list no items to show and also include the link to the evaluation website. Let's see if that works. Okay, so here's where you can fill out your evaluation. Okay, the next tab is Details. This tab can be used to view additional information related to the project, such as authorization number, road and bridge engineer, right-of-way and utility clearance dates, and to take ownership of a project. If you recently have been assigned a project, this is where you can go to take ownership of a project and get it added to your My Projects list. When you click on the Take Ownership button, it will assign your name as your computer login name for consistency. The Take Ownership feature will be handy in just a minute while I show you the reports. I've created a Clearview training guide that is available to everyone. This guide is included in the handout section of this webinar, but is also available on the server. Let me pull up that address for you. So here's the server address for the training guide. And I've also created several reports to help with tracking and monitoring the project status. These reports are saved in Excel format to allow filtering, sorting, and are updated daily between 9 and 10 a.m. They are located on the Program Management Status Report page, which is listed here. Or you can also access them through the Clearview Reports tab. Let me show you that. Let's see if that works in Clearview. So you'll notice the Reports tab here, Canned Reports. We're going to click on that link. Okay, here's the Program Management Status Report page. If you look at the bottom, Subject Matter Export Tracking Reports. If you take your mouse over the report name, it will pop up to give you more information on the report. If there is a specific report that can help you with tracking your work, please let me know. I've created several customized reports that are being emailed directly to specific subject areas and users. Let's take a quick look at the DES report. You'll notice that the item number is hyperlinked. I've created these reports so by clicking on the item number field, it will directly open to the project page in Clearview. This is a quick way for you to access your projects for updating milestones. We'll be going over this report in more detail in the DES webinar that is set for August 17th, presented by Keith Caudill. Let's take a look at the Plan Processing Status Report. Okay, here's this report. This report is emailed to the Plan Processing Branch and Construction Procurement weekly to track and monitor the status of plans for projects scheduled for letting in the next 4 months. Again, I want to point out the hyperlink set on this page. This will allow quick access to the project page in Clearview, or by clicking on the authorization number. Let me click that to show you what that does. This is a quick and easy way to access the EMARS Budget and Expenditures page. So for this report, for example, if you have sent check prints in, you can click on the plans status link to open Clearview, and it will open to the project page. Input the submittal date to central office in the Milestone. Once plan processing has reviewed, they can go back into Clearview and key in the status that it's returned to the district. These reports are all set up for filtering and sorting. Let me click on filter. I can then filter on any of these column headings. For example, let's take a look at the project manager. You'll notice when I bring up the filter box, it will list all the different project managers that are in this report. You'll notice there's several different formats. We have some entered first name, last name, KYTC / first name dot last name, KYTC / first name dot last name. This is where I want to go back to the Take Ownership button. By using the Take Ownership button on the Details tab, it will set the project manager's name in the appropriate format, which is KYTC / username, which is usually first name dot last name. All the reports allow for filtering to help you find your projects and what might be needing attention. Again, if you have any reports that you would like to customize and schedule, please let me know and I can help get those created for you. Okay, let's see here. Get this back open. Okay, well, sorry for the networking issues we had today. Not sure how helpful it was. I hope it was a little bit beneficial for you. I do want to thank you for taking your time to attend this webinar. And I guess at this time we can go over any questions.
Yeah, do we have any questions out there? Looks like we have a couple. One of them, Jamie, was first I want to say I think you did a great job in the presence of basically a technical catastrophe there. We're sorry for that. We actually, Henry Wells actually contacted OIT and found out that it was apparently a database problem, and OIT is now looking into it.
So we might want to try to, I don't know if we want to try to redo the webinar.
We may. We'll figure something out. We might
Okay.
We'll try to figure something out there. Again, though, your training guide's very definitive too, right?
Yes.
So that'll help a lot. Anyhow, we can discuss that later. Again, I think you did a great job, basically plowing through a presentation that you're trying to demonstrate the technical aspects of something that fell apart. But yeah, it looks like we have a couple questions though here, Jamie. First one is,
Okay.
how do you get Clearview access?
Okay. If you need Clearview access or somebody in your district or your division needs Clearview access, you can just send me an email and I will submit that to OIT and we can get you set up. And usually once they get you set up, I'll send you the training guide for you to look over, and if you want me to walk you through over the phone a few of the tips and tricks for it, I can do that as well. So just contact me and we can get that going for you.
Great. Looks like we have another question here. Somebody says that nothing pops up when I click on any of the SME tracking reports on the DPM page. Who should I report this to?
You can, just like the getting access to Clearview, if you are having trouble accessing the reports, you can let me know and I'll take a look at that for you.
Great. And then I guess we have a last question here. How do you set a letting date for the project?
Okay, those letting dates can only be set by program management, so that all needs to go through them. Unfortunately, we cannot set those.
So that's not something you'd actually do in Clearview then. Okay.
No, you will not use Clearview to set those dates.
Okay.
Those are all set by program management through the Oracle database.
All right, well, I was actually hoping somebody might try something different asking questions today. We actually have the ability to, well, I said we do, raise our hands during the presentation. So actually you would see the hands raised, Jamie. And if somebody raises their hands, we can unmute them and they can ask a question versus typing it in. Does anybody want to try that? It would be a first. It'd be in the annals of history for the webinars. Does anybody want to try that? Jamie, you seen any hands raised?
No, I do not.
Okay. We also have another question here. Looks like somebody typed it in. Who asked to set, I guess it's who do you ask to set the
Yeah,
letting date?
again, that would be Travis Jones and Lindsay Carter, up there in program management.
Okay. And I actually just got a message too that Clearview is up and running now. Do you want to maybe go back and go over some of that? We'll probably go
Yeah,
over
we
time a little
can.
bit, but it might be wise to go ahead and go over some of the stuff that you couldn't get to.
Yeah, let's do that. If anybody can stick around, I'll go try to go through some of the tabs for us.
Great. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you. Let's see. Okay, let's try searching. Let's see if it pulls up for us this time. There we go. It's still really slow, but you will notice that it's pulling the project header information at the top of the screen. Um, Still looks to be a little slow. There we go. Okay, on the Milestones tab. Um, I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned there was 13 milestones. You'll notice on this page, not all the milestones are being displayed. That is because it's going to hide the ones that are not required. If you click this show button, this will show all of them. So for example, let's look at the road plans to central office. We received a consultant monthly report, and this date, the consultant has said that these plans are not going to be sent in until September 1st. So let's try to update this date. It's currently set for July 1st. The consultant has said that it's not going to be submitted to September 1st. So we go into the calendar, select the month, September, click on the date, and it's going to highlight this, lets you know that a change has been made. You'll go over here and you'll want to input a new remark. It won't let you save it until you enter a remark. So I have listed revised contract date. I'm going to put in today's date so that it knows the date it's been changed. You can click Save here, or if you're updating multiple milestones, you can click Save All. And you can look up here and it will let you know the status of the save. It's trying to save. And it will let you know when it has saved. It will say that changes have been saved, and these should, there we go. So save successful, and the highlighted fields have been changed. So let's review the funding tab. So earlier I mentioned that there was two tables on this tab. You have your authorized funds and you have your projected remaining costs. The authorized funds will show all the phases that have been authorized, and if a phase has not been authorized, the authorization date will be blank and the amount will be 0. So if you recently had an inspection and the cost estimate has changed, you'll go down here to the projected remaining costs and want to update your estimate. The date of estimate, this is currently just the year. We would like to be able to put in the full date, but right now it will only accept the year. So we'll leave that as 2015. Say the current cost estimate has updated to $10 million. The current cost, the projected authorization date has changed to 2016. And it's going to require a remark. So there's your highlighted fields. You'll notice the projected costs changed to 10,000, 400,000. This is, the cost will automatically escalate based on the projected authorization date. So that's why that changed. Then you would click Save. So I'm just going to clear that. Let's take a look at the cap. So this project, you'll notice, has 3 caps. If you need to enter a new cap note, click down here on the New. You will enter all the information, the requester, the location, requested date is the calendar box, and a description. Once you save this, it's going to automatically put in your username and the date you entered the cap. I think I showed you how a cap report prints out, but I want to point out, here's the button if you need to print it. One of the tips that I have picked up is if you need to browse to one of your projects, if you click up in the address bar, you'll notice that district number and item number is at the end of the address. You can go up here and change this. Let's see. So I'm going to change it to District 10. I'm going to look up item number 8102 and then click Enter. And this is just a quick and easier way to get to your project page instead of having to go back to the search page. So you will notice for project 10-8102, they have several different evaluations listed. If you click on the evaluation name, you can open this evaluation. And just be patient as it opens. So there's the evaluation. You'll notice back here in Clearview, it has 4 evaluations, the district and the central office. Evaluations have been completed for preliminary and final design. So again, let's go back up here and use this little trick again and go back 3, it's 108.5, so that we don't have to go back to our search screen. And we're going to look at that Details tab real fast. Maybe. There we go. Okay, the Details tab, this is where you can view additional information on the authorization number, the project manager, the road and bridge engineer, and the bridge number, and the right-of-way and utility clearance dates. This is where you can update these dates. And I mentioned the Take Ownership. This is the button you can click to take ownership. So if a project has been recently assigned to you, this is where you go. And again, just to point out, it will automatically set the project manager's name as the username. The format looks like this, KYTC / first name dot last name. Also, I think I forgot to point this out. You'll notice the item number is hyperlinked. You can click on this to open the current status report for the project. This is updated daily between 9 and 10 a.m. every day. That might be helpful if you need to pull up the status report for your project. And let's see if I have a copy. Let's see. Well, it looks like there's still a few issues. This is what it will pull up when the status report finally loads. The authorization number is hyperlinked to the EMARS page so that you can view the budget and expenditures for the project. That may just be a quick and easy way to help you get some information on your programs. I think that about covers all that I can think of. Do we have any more questions? Again, I want to apologize for the network issues today.
Yeah, I don't see any more questions on the questions board, and it doesn't look like anybody's hands raised. It looks like we had a bit of an issue as to being able to raise your hand. So we now have the ability to raise hands. If you want to raise your hand, it is actually in the vertical bar that's next to the control panel at the bottom. So if anybody wants to raise their hands and again go down in the annals of history as being the first person. Oh no, Carolyn Weber has raised her hand. So we will unmute her and see what she has to say. Carolyn, can you hear us? Do you have a microphone? Does Carolyn have a mic? I don't think Carolyn has a microphone. You do have to have a microphone for this to work, but Carolyn has at least attempted. Does anybody else want to try? Andre Johannes has decided to try. Andre, can you hear us? Andre? Okay, apparently the speakers aren't working. At least we had 2 attempts this time, which is good. Carolyn, can you actually... Apparently you have to set up the mics and everything when you're in the webinar, so apparently it's not working out. Carolyn, are you letting it's not working? Okay. Well, we had 2 attempts. Okay, we actually do have a question that's popped up, Jamie. On the milestone dates, there are multiple lines slash dates that can be entered for each entry. How does the SYP know what to use?
Yeah, when SYP, it's always going to pull the recent date on the status reports. There are multiple values under each milestone. So as actions occur, you can go into the milestone and enter any date or information for any of those values that are under the milestone. It's always, just remember, for the reporting, it's going to pull the latest value entered on the report.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Well, I think we're done, Jamie. Jamie, I want to thank you so much for doing what you did here, especially considering the issues that came up. You did a great job. And
thank you, Chris, and thank you to all those that stuck around and to go through some of this. And if you have additional questions or need help, since we did have some issues today, please email or call me, and I'll be happy to help walk you through those.
Great. Thanks a bunch, Jamie. I appreciate it. And again, I'd like to remind everybody to please participate in the survey at the end of the webinar. It'll pop up as soon as the webinar is closed. And again, thank you for attending, and thank you to Carolyn and Andre for being brave enough to raise your hands. I wish we could have talked to you. And thank you for all your questions, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks a bunch.